the years, has enthralled us with the myriad characters that she has portrayed on screen. She's played the lead in over 17 films and is now making her international debut. However, it is not just on screen that she dons multiple roles. She wears several hats in real life too. Apart from being one of the most successful actors today, she's also a film producer, an investor, a founder with a vision to create a better world through sustainable startups. It's no surprise then that she was one of the only 4 recipients globally to be honored with the Time 100 Impact Awards in October 2022 edition. And when she heard about Mission Startup, a series that seeks to support and empower entrepreneurs and startups, she was excited to be here and share her journey as an entrepreneur. So without any further delay, please welcome on stage actor, producer, investor, entrepreneur, Alia Bhatt.
So, where did the interest in entrepreneurship come from?
So actually, I'll start off by saying hello to my lovely members of the media from Delhi. Delhi वालों, क्या हाल है आज? हाँ, बहुत serious बातें हो रही आज अभी इधर. बहुत important बात हो रही है और actually I want to start off by saying I'm sure, I think 60% of the people in the room are confused as to why I'm here as an entrepreneur. सोच रहे होंगे कि आलिया तो ब्रांड एंडोर्स करती है, entrepreneur कहाँ से आया है? मैक्सिमम इन्वेस्ट किया होगा. क्वेश्चन मार्क तो है ना? है ना? देखा? I'm so connected to them, so I know exactly how they're thinking. But to be very honest, even I sometimes think to myself, कि, oh, okay, you're actually an entrepreneur. So let's go back as to where this started and where this came from.
Yes.
In 2015 or 2016, I remember कि मेरे दिमाग में ना एक कीड़ा बैठ गया कि मुझे कुछ create करना है. Okay, it's as simple. It was the rise of all these apps, and I'm speaking in the most simple language because I'm an audience, I'm a consumer. So there's also apps coming out. So every time I was coming up with an idea, I also want to create an app. Little did I know that you need a lot of money, a clear idea, and somebody to back that idea. So then I remember, okay, fine. I would call up my team and say, oh, I have this idea, why don't we create something like this, why don't we do this, something, and they would just humor me and hear me out, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop ideating about, what I would like to create. But basically what I was looking for at that time, I remember, and it comes from a very vulnerable place as a person, I never wanted to put all my eggs in one basket, which is मैं एक actor हूँ and I work very hard on a daily basis, पर कल का क्या पता? Who knows where I'm going to be tomorrow. So I wanted to secure myself as a person and as a professional. But obviously, when I sat down to actually ideating about what I want to create, usually you would consider an actor to do like a fashion brand, some clothes, a limited edition collection of something, which is fine in its place and it's great. But when I actually got down to thinking about, do you need another fashion label? There's so much quantity, there's so many options available. So why would anybody come for a product just because my name is associated to it? So I didn't want it to be something that just because it's associated to my name, it's a brand that should stand tall on its own. So I looked for the gap in the market at that time. Us time pe, there were not as many homegrown, sustainable children's clothing brands at that time. And that's where I said, okay, this is the story. And parallelly, us time pe, I was also thinking of putting out a story of a little girl and her dog, Ed. And this little girl and her dog go on these adventures. They talk to trees and animals and everything, and they're on this adventure to save the planet. So from that story came the story of Edamama, which is my own children's wear clothing brand. Mera venture hai, Mera Capital hai, Mera Vision hai. I am the sole investor and founder of Edamama. So that's the information that I want to put out there first.
What, according to you, Alia, does it take to create a successful startup? Right? For the creation of taking an idea and creating it, and I think Professor Sood was talking about it earlier, we have a lot of them where the start happens, right? And if I may, I think by any yardstick, Edamama has actually crossed that and well and beyond. So what does it take to go from just starting to scaling?
Well, I think, again, that's a lot of pressure for me to just suddenly give that extreme advice. But see, from my experience, number one for me was finding the gap in the market. If there's a gap in your life, there will be a gap in the other people's lives as well. Sitting here, just under a board of technology and innovation, I really can't be sitting on a high horse because technologically and innovation-wise, I've really not done that. So I'm sure they know what they're doing. But one of the things that I think is fabulous about a show like Mission Startup and, with Ajay sir's contribution and support, what you're saying about having mentors lead the way, really being able to, of course, number one, believe in your dream. Do not be afraid of failing. But that's very easy to say when, you're not putting in your own money. So when there is money on the table, you're very afraid of failing. But sometimes it takes time. So you have to see it through. But that's where that mentor is so important. That's where that support system really comes into play, because very often I'm continuously second guessing myself because I tell myself, I know nothing about business, I know nothing about numbers. You're throwing these terminologies at me and they make no sense to me. And I'm telling them, explain it to me in an elevator pitch. In 4 lines, if it makes sense to you, then it will make sense to me. Like if you ask me what your next film, Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani is about, and I can't tell you and it takes me about 65 minutes to explain it to you, you'll be like, I'd rather go watch the film. But if I tell you, no, it's a film about 2 families and 2 cultures and not just loving each other but also loving each other's families. Simple, cool. I know if I want to buy a ticket to that movie or not. Same thing comes to a brand like Edamama or any other brand or any other innovation. If I can tell you in 1 second what it does and what it will do, or in a couple of sentences, you're sold eventually. We don't have time. We need to know it immediately. So you have to have that confidence in that, and someone giving you that confidence, saying that you've got something, just keep going and it'll come, and helping you from all those little speed bumps and sometimes massive ones.
Talking about Mission Startup, with your experience of having been an entrepreneur and having been an investor too, and obviously having been a phenomenal, entertaining actor, what do you expect Vision Startup to be about? Because it needs to bring in a combination of being entertaining for viewers, inspirational, and also ultimately provide a behind-the-scenes look into the world of startups.
You're talking about going and supporting innovation at the grassroots level. I'm expected to be wowed, surprised, edge of my seat, really being so proud of where our country is at today. And I'm expecting to see a lot of honesty and a lot of vulnerability. And I would like to see that, because it's not easy. And at the end of the day, this is a competition. Mission Startup is a competition. I'm guessing one person eventually at the end of the season or end of whatever. But I know that there are 10 teams, right? What I know is one will win, but the other 9 are not going to go unnoticed.
Absolutely.
So there is so much exposure and such a beautiful platform for these people, and everyone rightfully said, inspiring, incentivizing. You'll have people sitting at home watching the show and maybe resonating, saying, yes, this is me, this is what I thought, this is what I felt, oh, that's the mistake that I made. And even if they don't land up coming on Mission Startup, they will go into their own mission and maybe do something, start something there.
That's interesting. Last question. So you are a producer, an actor, I'm sure a very busy personal life, a mom, an entrepreneur, an investor, and I'm sure I missed out a bunch of them. How do you manage it all? What's your secret to work-life balance?
I think everyone over here, everyone has a balance that they need to maintain, right? You have to maintain your family, you have to maintain your work life, you have to maintain your children, घर संभालना है, खुद को संभालना है, health संभालना है, सब कुछ संभालना है. But we do it because such is life, and you need to just keep moving. put one step in front of the other, not think about what you're not doing right, think about how you've gotten through the day with a smile on your face, and even if you have a couple of tears rolling down, it's okay, because such is life. So one of the most important things is, I don't have all the answers, sometimes I do not manage, but I know what my top priorities are. Of course, now, my daughter being at the top of the mountain, but you just have to, like, I'm sounding like some motivational speaker right now, but I'm just saying you just have to keep going and not thinking about how you're doing or how well you're doing or how badly you're doing, and stop yourself every now and then to give yourself a pat on your back if you want, but just keep going. Such is life.
Just keep going, such is life. I think that's a t-shirt slogan, I don't know. And I'll try it. But thank you so much.
Thank you
so much for being here. Thank you for your candor. And thank you for what I'm certain is going to be some little very interesting pearls of wisdom for entrepreneurs everywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Give you a round of applause, please, for Alia.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.